Howdy y'all, got the Bulldog on the channel. What I have here today is a unicorn. The dreaded 3-valve Triton, the older style, and look at what we have here. All 8 spark plugs come out in one piece. Can you believe that? Now I know that most people are saying, why wouldn't it? For anybody that knows about these engines, they're amazed. I'll show you why. Here's a spark plug for a 3-valve Triton. Now, one spark plug, right? But this thing is in 3 pieces. You have the porcelain, you have the lower sleeve is pressed up onto the porcelain, and then you have the threads with the seat on it that they're slid up over top of the porcelain and then crimped right here. So what happens, this is almost press fit. It fits very tight in the head. As you're running the motor, this is in the combustion chamber, so it gets all filled up with carbon and it sticks in the hole. You go to break it loose, this breaks loose, this stays still. You back these threads up off of the porcelain, leaving the plug into place. Sometimes the porcelain breaks right here and you back out this whole thing, leaving this part in the head. We have to have a special tool that screws down into these threads, has a press that presses the porcelain out of this sleeve, and then it has an extractor tool that screws down into this metal sleeve and bites on it, and then you use that, it's a threaded rod that you use to press it out. It pulls it out of the head. We've worn out 2 tools. That's how many of them we've done. Worn them out to where they won't hold in this sleeve down here. So this was a unicorn. I don't think I've ever seen it before. All these plugs are wore clear out. An odd looking plug. Got a big gap to jump. Some of them, the electrodes are worn crooked. It was missing on 2 or 3 cylinders. Not only was it missing on 2 or 3 cylinders, somebody's been working on it because you see the coils are numbered. They were numbered backwards. It came in rattling and banging and missing. Okay. How much did it cost to fix? I don't know. I really don't. It rattled on startup. The rattle on startup was the timing chains. So we're going to do timing chains and phasers. The rattle while it's running was valve lifters. Every lobe down there has a lifter under it. It's got a follower. There's the spring, but right next to it, that's a lifter. That one right there, that's a lifter. It hydraulically fills up to take the space out of the valve train, and when they're clattering, that means the lifter is collapsed. It's clattering on several cylinders. So what we did was we took it apart, looking for a reason that the oil pressure might be low in the head. They always have a telltale sign. I took the cam bearing off of it, the front cam bearing there. And I look in here at this aluminum piece is the bearing, and the other half of it's in the head. So if you want to change your cam bearings, you change the whole head. Because everybody has a couple $1,000s laying around that they can just buy new heads. And everybody has $1,500 laying around that they can just throw chains in it, and everybody has $750 laying around or $500 to replace all the lifters while you have it apart. We advise people to not buy a Ford truck between the years of 2004 and 2010 at all. The gas engines, your choices are the 3.5 EcoBoost, the 5.4 Triton 3-valve, and the 6.8 liter V10. The V10 is not too bad. It's the old style 2-valve engine. This is the 3-valve, 24-valve engine. Not good. For this reason. Now, I got all kinds of power. They run great. Don't get me wrong. When you have to work on them, you just start putting parts on it. It's bad. So, it's just one of those things that you never stop working on it. They did make these engines after 2010, but they had to be ordered. You had EcoBoost, the 5.0, which we haven't seen major problems with yet at all. A little bit with the 3.5, and then the 5.4. So, just something to warn you guys on. And yes, I stopped and did this video because I don't think I've ever seen one of these engines where all 8 plugs came out in one piece. That we had not done before. When I go to put these things back in, I will put never seize on this part here and on the threads. Not gobs, just a little bit. Then you change your plugs twice as often. They don't make them, you don't let them run 100,000. I don't know how many miles these have on them. A lot. But you change them twice as often so that they don't stick. You know, might as well. The first one we saw come in here, I think, broke off 6 of the plugs. And 2 of them came out. I've had several that all 8 of them broke off. Some people claim that they don't have any trouble with them. You take them out with an impact. Oh, using an impact on aluminum threads. Yes, it's aluminum threads in there. That's an aluminum head. You can easily strip out the hole, and then what are you doing? Putting in an insert or a whole head. I don't know. It's just something that we don't advise. But I figured I'd show you guys what I was dealing with here. This is checking it all out, trying to make sure that we had something to fix here. We really were hoping the guy would pop for a new motor. He won't. Gonna have to make it clear to him that we cannot assume liability on this motor because of its reputation. We have been bit on one of these before. Do all the work to it, and it drives 5,000 miles and the low end is now out of it because it was low on oil pressure. And that's why he was having trouble with everything else. Same when everything else was worn, so the low oil pressure showed up. Put it all on there and everything kind of worked for a while. The problem is always the cam bearings are lubricated with oil from the bottom of the motor. And I had done a video about clear flood mode, pumping oil up to the top of the motor. They always start dry. You have to pump oil up to the top of the motor. It takes a second, second and a half, 2 seconds. And in that time, that's spinning. And it's spinning at a heck of a speed. The friction galls the bearings and ruins them. We've seen a truck done at 47,000 miles. I mean, we start taking it apart and it's shot. We tried to band-aid it, but put the pin back in the grenade. He went another 20,000 and it blew up. Blew up. So if you have one of these and it's running good, let somebody else own it. If you're looking at one of them because it's cheap, it's not. Just throwing that out there. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, share it all around. Talk to you later.